Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a special treat today. This is a 2022 Lexus IS500. This one's straight from Canada, which is why it does not have a sunroof. The owner is very tall, wanted the extra headroom, and this is a car that I've been looking at buying now since last year. I've been on the wait list. So I am super excited to actually get behind the wheel and see whether I'm going to be getting this as my daily driver or a BMW M340i. So first things first, interior space, interior impressions. The rear is pretty small, right? So when you look at other cars in this segment, like the M340i, a lot more room. So I can fit back here, but I'm 6'1", you know, my passenger is 5'8". I could ask him to push it forward a little bit. Headroom, I got like an inch or two. As for the trunk, you know, decent amount of space, but again, not as large as some of the competitors, other cars in this segment. And as for the interior, we have this active sound control, which is really nice because a lot of cars that have piped in sound, they don't give you this option, but I love having this. You can have low, medium, or high. We tried it on both, I'll show you, but having it completely off is how I'm going to be driving because the engine sounds beautiful just as is. The interior overall, it feels, if I'm being honest, it feels kind of dated. It feels very dated. And the M340i has a much nicer interior overall. The fit and finish is okay, but the materials here, they're just kind of, they feel kind of cheap, man. You know, especially for a Lexus, you know, oh my God, Lexus, luxury, build quality, all that stuff. It just feels a little bit off, not gonna lie. But that's not the main attraction of this car. The reason you buy this car is because of that 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. So with that out of the way, let's see how this bad boy drives. So we have a few drive modes. We have Eco, Normal, Sport, and Sport Plus. For this, we're gonna be focusing on Sport Plus, of course. It stiffens up the adaptive dampers, but if I'm being honest, I can't actually notice a difference. It feels the same in Normal and Sport Plus. But put this in manual and let that V8 sing. You don't feel like this car is lacking any power from the naturally aspirated V8. 0 to 60 in roughly 4.8 seconds. And this is a chunky monkey. This car weighs 3,900 pounds. And on these roads, it's not hiding that. It's not fooling anyone. You definitely feel it. The transmission is an 8-speed auto. This is not the same one that you find in the LC. This is the same one that you find in cars like the RCF. And it's a little bit slow and quite jerky. When you have it in Sport Plus, it's definitely faster. Oh yeah, as we approach these corners, you gotta get on the brakes early. In mid-corner, we're getting some traction control kicking in. Brakes feel like what you would expect from a luxury car. So it's pretty squishy. It's not super precise when you're trying to modulate it, but it's fairly linear. And it fits the character of the car because I'm not going for a sport razor edge experience. I'm going for something a little bit more boaty, luxurious, that can occasionally give me some thrills on these mountain roads. Traction control kicking in. Oh, nice. Definitely feeling the heft. It does not want to change direction during those S's. And because of the heft of this car, the brakes on a road like this, I don't want to cook too much, so I'm going to go a little bit lighter. Suspension it's a nice balance of being comfortable and soft while still being sporty enough to not have too much body roll. So it strikes a really fine balance that I think is difficult to achieve. And I very much applaud Lexus for doing that. A lot of people are comparing this car to things like the M3. It's not trying to be an M3 competitor. This is at the same point as the M340i, and you're trying to have a sporty but still comfortable and luxurious daily driver. Throttle is very easy to modulate, very responsive. again, naturally aspirated. You don't have any turbo lag like you do in some of the other cars in this segment. And people who say that the transmission is frustrating, they're not lying. It is definitely the weak point of the driving experience. But I don't think it's as bad as people say. Like, it's not going to be as nice and quick as the ZF8 speed and similar, but it doesn't quite match the brilliance of that naturally aspirated V8. Steering, as you would expect, is completely devoid of any feedback, although when you're in Sport Plus, it does have a little more heft to it, a little more weight, but of course that's artificially enhanced. It doesn't actually increase any feedback through the wheel. But with the luxury car EPS, you're not really going to be getting much, and that's, again, on par with the rest of the segment. The other annoying thing with the transmission is if you want to use the actual gear selector to shift, and you push it to the left into manual mode, forward is up and back is down, which is backwards. When you're braking, you're trying to downshift, you should be pushing this forward to downshift, and it's the reverse in Lexus, as it is with all Lexus models. Kind of annoying, but these paddles do feel nice. They feel good quality. They have that nice tactile click to them when you engage. I would probably just use the paddles, if I'm being honest. NVH, what you would expect for a Lexus. It's a comfortable cruiser. When you put it in auto, you put it in comfort mode, you're just cruising along, it is a very comfortable experience. Haven't been able to get this on the highway for a sound test, but you're not going to have any issues with noise and sound fatigue. The Mark Levinson audio system sounds great. This is active sound off. And now I'm going to turn active sound on the max setting. You guys can decide for yourself what you prefer. And then another cool little party trick is that the gauge has some inspiration from the LFA. So when you press this to see more information on the side, the whole gauge, the physical gauge actually moves, which I think is pretty badass. And then you can move it back just like that. Cool little party trick. Definitely adds that little added specialness to the experience. God, that never gets old. Now, in terms of the engine, it has a very linear power band that you would expect from a naturally aspirated V8. It sounds brilliant too. And with power to weight, in terms of straight line performance, you don't feel like this car is lacking at all. It's quick enough. That's not gonna blow your socks off, but it's enough to get in trouble. Absolutely. The chassis feels rigid. You're not getting much flex while you're driving. You're feeling the suspension doing the work without the chassis flexing. And in terms of the inputs, like, this car very much feels like a cohesive single experience. You don't have really sharp steering and then really soft other inputs. Everything is just kind of soft with a little bit of sportiness to it, but still the emphasis on luxury and softness. Compared to the M340i, which I test drove about a month ago, and which I am considering as my daily drivers, between these two cars, I'm not sure, man. It's more dynamically competent, but this V8 has such character. So what do you value? That's ultimately what it comes down to. This has a more dated interior, it's smaller, the transmission is kind of annoying at times. The styling is also up for debate. I think both cars look pretty good though, in my honest opinion. But what do you guys think? Lexus IS500, BMW M340i, which one do you think I should get as a daily driver? Which one would you get as a daily driver? Thanks for watching, my friends. Much love, and I'll see you guys in that next one.
Nice.
Oh, special guest, Fenton Sun.
What?
All right.